Yo, welcome to this training. Your self-image is your ceiling, a guide to upgrading your self-image so you can achieve the success that you want. And we're going to be using Psycho-Cybernetics foundational principles for self-image and identity. Psycho-Cybernetics is one of the greatest books, a world-class book. Absolutely would recommend reading it. Now let's get into the video and training. So 5 quotes from Psycho-Cybernetics. Let's start off. You will always act like the sort of person you conceive yourself to be. The way you see yourself on a foundational level is going to drive your actions, is going to drive the decisions you make, and the life that you live and the results that you see. Second quote, your nervous system cannot tell the difference between an imagined experience and a real experience. Think about the last time you had a nightmare or like a bad dream and you wake up and you're sweating and your heartbeat is really high and like you're stressed out. A physical response to an imagined experience. Same thing can happen with visualization. Number 3, conscious effort inhibits and jams the automatic creative mechanism. Think about this. Usually the best action you take is when you're in the flow state. When you're in the flow state, you're not thinking about how you're acting. You're thinking about the object itself. Number 4, the self-image sets the boundaries of an individual accomplishment. It defines what you can and cannot do. So you need to expand the self-image. And then you expand the area of possible. The development of an adequate, realistic self-image will seem to imbue the individual with new capabilities, new talents, and literally turn failure into success. Self-image is everything. It is the boundary of individual accomplishment. And lastly, number 5, you must have a clear mental picture of the correct thing before you can do it successfully. Self-image explained. So self-image can be defined and described by the following things. When we talk about self-image, obviously I need to explain because self-image can be very vague. Like, what is actually your self-image? What does your identity consist of? So these things, the way you see yourself, that's number 1. A collection of your internal beliefs, your frequent energy and emotions, internal frequency, the foundation of your inner world, your self-talk and internal dialogue. That's what your self-image is all these things combined. So the way you see yourself, a collection of your internal beliefs, your frequent energy and emotions, your internal frequency, the foundation of your inner world, how you actually see yourself, and your self-talk. So this is an equation I really want to let sink in, is your internal state creates your external reality. Write this down. Take out a notebook and write this down. Your internal state creates your external reality. This is so important. Now, the reason why this is so important is because your self-worth, the level that you see your self-worth at, which is like how you feel from within, do you feel like you deserve your success? Do you feel like you deserve great things in life? That is, in a way, your internal state. If your self-worth is high, that is going to reflect itself with a good physique, a healthy lifestyle, with low stress and a happy and fulfilling life, with a high income, a good quality relationship. And on the other hand, a low self-worth will manifest itself in your life through a low income, struggling, stress, just being anxious, physique, like a physique that you don't want, a confidence, a level of confidence that you're not proud of, low success, poor relationships, and a poor quality of life. Self-worth is a great indication and reflection of those things in your life and how you live your life. So to change the quality of your life and your success, you must change your internal state. Now, what changes your internal state? Here are the things that change your internal state, which is going to change your external reality. Things like the content you consume. Believe it or not, the videos you watch really tell your mind and your subconscious about the type of person you want to become. If you're always watching content about, how to become successful, how to achieve great things, how to do this and this and this, and how to become great, then you're going to have that drive and your subconscious is going to pick up on those cues. Same thing with the music that you listen to. Same thing with the habits and the things that you do and your environment, like people, places, and influence. The time you sleep and wake up also affects your internal state. And this is a big one, the state of your room. Your thoughts always reflect the state of your environment. If your room is messy, unorganized, not clean or tidy, then that's going to reflect itself through that same way of thinking. With a messy room, you're going to have messy thoughts. If your room is clean and tidy, you're going to have clean, organized thoughts. That is self-image. Now, why is self-image important? You probably know, if you've read the book, I would recommend reading Psycho-Cybernetics because if you're working towards building bigger success, if you're working towards achieving greater things in life and growing your business, growing your mindset, being more disciplined with your habits and your focus, then you need to upgrade your self-image. Otherwise, it's always going to be hard for you to grow. It's going to be hard for you to change because you have a ceiling above your head, which is your identity. Now, this is your invisible ceiling, your self-image. You've heard of the quote, you can never outwork your self-image. You see, if your self-image is that of a person with a low income, poor habits and discipline, low confidence and self-esteem, and misfortune, guess what's going to happen? You're always going to return to that state, no matter how hard you work. If genuinely you cannot see yourself as a person who is able to encompass a high income, you could work 10 hours a day, but you'll always find a way to sabotage yourself, and it will just feel like you're fighting against the current. On the other hand, if your self-image is that of a person with a high income, good habits and good discipline, and a high confidence and high self-esteem, if that's your self-image and it's very high, then you're not going to have to do that much work and you will see a lot of results. Of course, you're going to have to work because you need a vessel. Like if I want to manifest results and growth on like YouTube with my personal brand, like I need to post videos for that to happen. But obviously there was a big time where I was like posting so much, but my self-image was not at that level yet. And I was just posting, seeing no results. And then at once I decided to see myself as a successful person, as a successful personal brand. And shortly after that, I saw big changes in my results. So no matter how hard you work, you're always going to adapt to your level of normal success. What is a level of success to you? What is a level of things working out, of income that feels just right to you? That feels like normal. It feels like your home. It's something you're familiar with. Now that in essence, that is your identity thermostat. Because you could work and try to make more money, as much money as you like, but if you don't see yourself as a person who actually deserves to handle and receive more abundance, then you will never get there. And this is where the most important part comes in, identity shifting. So identity is built through evidence. Every action you take is a vote for the person you are becoming. James Clear, Atomic Habits classic. I want you to take out a journal and just ask yourself right now, what actions could you start taking today that will tell your subconscious mind that you are already the person you want to become? Let me repeat that. What actions could you start taking today that would tell your subconscious mind that you are already the person you want to become? Think of that. Answer that question honestly between you and yourself, because identity and self-image are built on action, evidence, and self-trust. It is about keeping your promises every single time. I'm going to tell you exactly how and why. We have two scenarios here. Scenario number one, a friend who says they will show up at 7, but they show up at 8. They say they're going to start the business, but weeks fly by, they take no action. They say they will do the thing, but they just don't. They have this track record of saying something, but doing something else. There's just no action, intention, congruency. And as a result, there's no self-trust. You lose trust. If that same person was going to say, I want to become successful, would you trust them? Absolutely not. Think about scenario 2. This is the exact opposite case. A friend says they're going to show up at 7. They show up at 7. They say they're going to start the business. They talk about it. And then weeks go by and they already took big action. They say they're going to do the thing. They always do the thing. They have this track record of saying something and they have a high trust rate. They follow through with their actions. This is so important. There is action, intention, congruency. And as a result, you gain trust. If that person in scenario 2, your friend, tells you, I want to become successful, would you trust them? 100%. Now, the universe works in the same way. If you have a low self-image, which means that you haven't built up enough evidence that you can keep your promises, big or small, then what's going to happen is you say something, you do something else, right? You say you're going to show up here, but you don't show up. You say you're going to start this, do the project, reach out to that person, but you never do. By the time you tell the universe, I want to be rich and successful, it just doesn't trust you. Like nature, the universe just doesn't believe in you, doesn't trust you because you haven't kept your word. You have a bad track record. The same way with a business. If you're unable to pay your bills on time, then how is a business, or like how is a bank, going to be able to lend you money? They don't trust you enough because you haven't paid them back on time. Previously in the past, you have a bad credit score, track record. So they're not going to want to lend you more. money. Think of that. Same thing with the universe, same thing with a friend. And it's the same thing. This is a universal law that I have come across after all this study of self-image, of identity, of mindset. So in essence, self-image is the way you see yourself, which is a collection of your internal beliefs, your frequent energy and emotions, which is your frequency, the foundation of your inner world. Is that based on empowerment, feeling good, feeling powerful, or is it based on a lack of self-trust, low self-confidence, low self-esteem? And also, as you probably have noticed, you have conversations with yourself most of the time. This is your internal dialogue, and this is your self-talk. Now, if your self-talk is negative, then it's going to manifest itself through a negative life. A negative mind can never create a positive life. That's your self-image. Your internal state creates your external reality. And what changes your internal state is also environmental things like content, what you consume, music you listen to, how you spend your time, your environment, the state of your room, for example. And self-image is so important because you could be working so hard towards a goal, but your self-image is just stopping you and it's blocking you. So that was self-image, 2 scenarios, building self-trust. I hope you found value from this video. I'm going to be posting these videos on a weekly basis. I just want to see how this format aligns with my current workflow. I'm basically pressing record. I'm not even like stopping editing or anything. I'm just downloading the video, uploading it straight to YouTube. And like that's, I like making these videos. So I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe to the channel. There's another video I just posted. Watch that as well. Take care. You got this.